Good existence. This is Nicholas Jensen Denton of JD's Apothecary. And this is the Truth Observatory, so make sure you go over to JD's Apothecary and, just share some hyperspace with me. This is a reading from the 21st of April, 1584, from the Angelic Conversations. I'll just dive right into it. After our prayers appeared shortly after Gabriel and Alvage, Edward Kelly propounded 6 questions orderly, which had bred great doubt in his fantasy, and requested their answers. D. He would have our spiritual friends to promise him the performance of the promises. Gabriel. If we were masters of our own doings, we might well promise. But we are servants and do the will of our master. But let me ask the one question. Dost thou not think that all things are possible with God? Kelly. I do so, and I know so. Gabriel. Then is there no cause why thou shouldest distrust? Let him that is a servant and is commanded to go, go. And let not the earth rise up and strive against the plowman. What sin is it when the creature riseth up and saith in his heart, Let the Lord make a covenant with me, considering he is bound man? Kelly. They seem both the voices at once to come into my ear. None but he that becometh disobedient and refuseth his master. D. would do so. Gabriel Nalvage. These things, that is to say, this doctrine delivered by us is of God and of his mercies granted unto you, which cannot be in vain, and therefore to be performed. For the secret determinations of God are unknown to us. We never heard of any man that would ask if God would perform his promises. Kelly. By August next? What if it were 100 Augusts? You may be wary before next August, as the children of Israel were of their manna. Kelly. Why join you numbers with these letters, and added none with those of the former tables? Brother. What is the cause that all the world is made of numbers? The numbers we speak are of reason and form, and not of merchants. I beseech you as concerning, D. I beseech you as concerning the powder whereof he think that he hath made due assay of it as if it should have been the philosopher's stone, and so affirmed to be by the ministers of this action. That is a question. So affirmed to be by the ministers of this action? I beseech you so to answer this thing as the reason may be satisfied. D. They gave no answer here, but proceeded in the former matter of numbers. Gabriel. Every letter signify Every letter signify the member of the substance whereof it speaketh. Every word signifieth the quiddity of the substance. Quiddity is a word that means the very essence or inner nature of, just so you know. The letters are separated and in confusion, and therefore are by number gathered together, which also gathered signify a number, for as every greater containeth his lesser, so are the secret and unknown forms of things knit up in their parents, where, being known in number, they are easily distinguished, so that herein we teach places to be numbered, letters to be elected from the numbered, and proper words from the letters signify substantially the thing that is spoken of in the center of his creation, whereby even as the mind of man, moved at an ordered speech, and is easily persuaded in things that are true, so are the creatures of God stirred up in themselves, when they hear the words wherewithal they were nursed and brought forth. For nothing moveth that is not persuaded, neither can anything be persuaded that is unknown. The creatures of God understand you not. You are not of their cities. You are become enemies, because you are separated from him that governeth the city by ignorance. Kelly, whether is this language known in any part of the world or no? If it be, where and to whom? Gabriel. Man in his creation, being made an innocent, was also authorized and made partaker of the power and Spirit of God, whereby he not only did know all things under his creation, and spoke of them properly, naming them as they were, but also was partaker of our presence and society, yea, a speaker of the mysteries of God, yea, with God himself, so that in innocence the power of his partaking with God and us his good angels was exalted, and he became holy in the sight of God, until that Karanazam, for so is the true name of that mighty devil, envying his felicity, and perceiving that the substance of his lesser part was frail and unperfect, in respect to his pure essay, he began to assail him, and so prevailed that offending he became accursed in the sight of God, and so lost the garden of felicity, the judgment of his understanding, but not utterly the favor of God, and was driven forth, as our scriptures record, unto the earth, which was covered with brambles, where being as dumb and not able to speak, he began to learn of necessity that language which thou callest Hebrew, and yet not that Hebrew amongst you, in the which the uttered and delivered to his posterity, the nearest knowledge he had of God his creatures, and from his own self divided his speech into 3 parts, 12, 3, and 7, the number whereof remaineth, but the true forms and pronunciations want, and therefore is not of that force that it was in his own dignity, much less to be compared with this that we deliver, which Adam verily spake in innocency, and was never uttered nor disclosed to man since till now, wherein the power of God must work, and wisdom in her true kind be delivered, which are not to be spoken of in any other tongue, neither to be talked of with man's imaginations, for as this work and gift is of God, which is all power, so doeth he open it in a tongue of power, to the intent that the proportions may agree in themselves. For it is written, Wisdom sitteth upon a hill, and beholdeth the 4 winds, and girdeth herself together as the brightness of the morning, which is visited with a few, and dwelleth alone as though she were a widow. Thus you see the necessity of this tongue, the excellency of it, and the cause why it is preferred before that which you call Hebrew. For it is written, Every less consenteth to his greater. I trust this is sufficient. Edward Kelly. As concerning the powder, what is it? Gabriel. What it is, that it is, for the knowledge of it may lead you to error. D. This answer offended Kelly greatly, and thereupon he left and would receive no more at their hands. God make him patient in a favor of this action, as soon as it is needful that he should be. And that is the end of the action. Thank you for listening to that one.